The first projects as part of our Future Behaviours 2016 programme arise very much out of the work that we've been doing this year. The two areas are care and intergenerational influence and flow. Turning first to care. Care as a word and a concept emerged very much from our interviews throughout the year. Central to the piece is understanding how expectations of care are developed by the individual, and also why so many individuals are able to articulate lack of care, often when many of the individual functions of service or engagement actually meet with approval. Somehow the sum of the relationship doesn't equal care. Personalisation plays a part in care, but also in many ways many of the current manifestations of personalisation actually illustrate a lack of care in the minds of many of the users. We wanted to explore as part of this piece where expectations of care are actually derived from. Also, what are the kind of emotional and deep values that people hold and appear to expect organisations to hold that are influencing perceptions of care. We'll be aggregating the data that we establish from all the partners to produce what we hope will be a really authoritative exposition of care and what it means and how organisations should think of developing real care strategies for their customers. The second element, though, is a much more focused side of things. So we're going to look at each of our partners and look at probably one or two services in particular contexts to understand what are the opportunities to really develop a relationship with the individual which is absolutely meeting people's expectations of care. Second piece, intergenerationality and flow. One of the major findings that came out of the work was that it's probably a mistake to think of the individual as some kind of autonomous entity, which is strange because today we tend to focus around understanding all sorts of data about the individual to personalise. But in fact, an individual appears to be becoming ever more a kind of collective. And within that collective, the intergenerational links are some of the most profound influences of decision-making and behaviour. Whilst organisations are aware of the influence between generations, I don't think many really understand the complexity and flow and nuances of these relationships and the extent to which an individual is influenced directly in certain decision making, but also is supported and has their decisions acknowledged within the collective of several generations. That plays a key role in making people feel good about their decision-making potential and also the results of their decision-making. Intergenerational influences can be what we might call formal. So here we might be looking at structures where people are living fairly close together, or they can be much more informal, using social media and other forms of contact to build up very complex webs of flows of information and actually emotional support. This piece of work will try to produce some broader conceptual understanding, but also move it down to look at particular products and services of organisation and how they might think of a more collective individual approach, taking into account this tremendous power of influence across generations.